think we're throwing it over to the very capable hands of Stu and Ajax right now. I think the set's about to start, so I'll see you guys later.
Yeah,
Have a good night.
Juice,
And remember to wash
have a
your
good
hands.
time with Stu and Ajax, and wear your mask.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Sounds like a plan to me. And Ubel, while I do have you here, I just wanted to say, you kind of look like Mark Maron's high school picture. Like, is that a thing that I'm allowed to say? Like, I don't know.
Go ahead. I know. I will take any and all criticisms or compliments on my appearance.
It's the first thing that came to mind. But you know what? Being compared to Mark Maron, not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I'll take it high praise.
unless it's by looks. Anyway, have a good night. So,
Have a good night,
Ling versus WebbJP winners quarterfinals. As Ajax fixes the hair, and Ling apparently is trying to fix his stage position here. WebbJP breaking out the ZSS for this tournament tonight, and again, it's a ZSS that we have known to be quite capable. Though the peach of Ling, Ajax, you know plenty about this guy, don't you? And certainly would be the case, as we're and I'm sure that we'll extend the analysis on Ajax's end very shortly, but for now we're going to have Ling. Again, you have a paralyzer gun, but somehow it is rendered incapable next to Turnip, which just travels so quickly, and it's quite meaty. It's not meat. I'm pretty sure turnips are gourds, but regardless, we're going to talk about how thick a hitbox it is as we get Ajax in here. Yeah, Ling's peach, definitely nothing with which to be trifled, though WebbJP not handling it all that poorly, all things considered.
Yeah, definitely one of the more prominent peaches of the world, finally getting the recognition deserved over recent months, really. Towards the tail end of pre-pandemic into this, he's been constantly on the grind. But one of the things he's got an extensive amount of experience in is this matchup. One of them that's actually kind of annoying, fighting against the likes of Mars. But we run into another ZSS who maybe might not be able to pull off the same punish game as what Mars was doing before. It's going to be on Webb to be able to adjust to the combo game and the maximum capabilities of damage that Ling is so known for.
Yeah, and this is a very aggressive ZSS, as we've come to know. I mean, WebbJP really does pride themselves on their punish game in general. If their Lucas plays any indication, certainly showing that there, as one errant jump in will cost them the stock with that ferocious up smash.
Yeah, that's one of the things you always got to make sure that you're doing is keeping Peach grounded as often as possible. Way difficult to do, but luckily ZSS is one of those characters that can do so with that retreating Zair, like you pointed out before, that up smash. It's constantly catching the approaches in. Do you see that fair coming? Do you see that nair out of shield potentially? And getting just a couple hits off of that down air into the back air is going to close that out. Very clutch by Ling to recognize the jump and the capabilities of turning what was disadvantaged situation into a positive.
And that's kind of the specialty of Peach, isn't it? Turning garbage into gold, as it were. When you have yourself in a disadvantage, all it takes is a few that jump speed and obviously the buttons that you have in the air. Certainly that back air providing enough of a hitbox to punish ZSS, and certainly WebbJP there, as Ling goes up by a score of 1-0. Formerly known as Ling, but decided that you know what, I'm good enough. I don't need to repeat myself, and you're going to find yourself with a 1-0 lead against a very capable WebbJP, someone who we have seen make monstrous runs in winners and losers side, and win out of both qualifications. But it's this is a different kind of monster that WebbJP is going up against.
Yeah, maybe half the name, but double the skill. He's really put in a lot of work recently, including in a character that he likes to play quite a bit. It's King Dedede. I doubt we see that here, but it is just one of those things that he's been working on extending his toolkit, working on trying to adjust a lot of things, but also somebody who's been doing the same thing is Webb. We've seen the ZSS being put to work a lot recently, consistently improving every single event, as we saw even last week when we were casting together. But the premier pick is that Lucas. Not necessarily the best pick. Maybe the PK Fires will be good against in keeping Ling grounded. The PK kids notoriously don't have the best overall time against Peach. Don't suffer, but it's a bit annoying. So let's see. It's probably going to be a lot of retreating PK Fires, maybe some PK freezes to catch Ling while he's kind of chilling out there with a float, and some optimization in those punishes. Where we're going to start off on PS2 in Game 2.
I mean, you might also be seeing advancing Zaire quite a bit if you are Lucas. You can just throw it out so quickly and really just kind of scoot Ling across the stage with it if you find yourself within the throes of that cottony pink snake that Lucas likes to deploy, as we see there, though Ling just out of range of it that time. But will try to exert stage control, uses the turnip quite well, as well as the grab upon get up. And now this really is it, isn't it? It's just making sure that you're maximizing the efficiency off of your jumps and not getting caught like they did there with the Nair. And Mr. Saturn, oh my gosh, must have wronged... I mean, Lucas must have wronged Mr. Saturn in a past life. Something, I don't know what it was, but that is not how you treat a good friend of yours, Mr. Saturn.
No, not at all. Having to have the RNG come through is another thing you unfortunately have to take into account when you're playing against this character. You always have to be mentally paying attention to those turnips, which Ling is going to use for not only jump control, but space control. And you do not want to get caught early percent by one of those Saturns, because Ling not only is capable of zero to deathing, as we've seen, but is capable of putting on just huge damage. So a good job by Webb avoiding that. It's just, can Webb close up the stock some point soon? Looking for the first mistake. There it is, getting some jab punishes and some tick damage off of that grab, but not able to close it out. The grab just yet, but the stage spike miss is gonna get it.
I mean, if it's not one thing, it's another. Do you want death by hanging or death by firing, squad? That is about the option that WebbJP presents to you when they're playing as Lucas, one of the more well-practiced on the planet Earth, dare I say, as the Zaire, again, just chipping away at this Peach. The nickel and dime damage coming through for Lucas, and I know I've said it before, I'll say it again. You find yourself with enough nickels and dimes, you'll find yourself with a whole dollar.
And sometimes you just got to cash that money out. Unfortunately, not able to put it into the bank. It's Ling trying to look for the drop down with that turnip. Just barely gonna miss and almost just getting that forward air too, but the small hurt box of Webb just able to get up over that ledge. This is starting to look a little bit better for Webb too. You know, 64% when we talk about the damage that Peach can do. We've already seen the type of strings that Webb can do as well, and he's starting to catch on to some of these landings. It's looking a little bit better for Webb.
Yeah, but, I mean, just like that, you throw the crown in the face, and it just equalizes things all the way up. And, you know, I know that they say that Fair got nerfed, or Peach Fair is nerfed. I have yet to see any evidence of it. That thing just shoots you across the stage. Maybe it doesn't kill quite as early, but even so, you have so many decent options at Peach. Not a single bad aerial, or an aerial that does not have a use in that in their repertoire, and certainly that up air killing off at the top, providing a decent example of such. Trying to utilize that down air to try to do a little tap dancing. WebbJP known to do a little bit of that themselves with their dare combos on the stage, and that will be key to... Oh, but you're not able to make it back. Gets the stage spike. That was a crazy interaction down below the stage, but Ling, you know what? Sometimes the best option really is to get hit, and knowing that he didn't even need the tech, could not travel the distance needed because of the meat shield that was provided by Ling, that's going to be good for a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, it's one of the difficult things with this matchup is that not only do you have to worry about that on-stage presence that Peach has, but Peach being one of the few characters that could go off stage and just literally sit in front of you as you're trying to set up your PK Thunder. So many characters will go off, maybe air dodge through you, and you know, in previous iterations to try and hit that PK Thunder to stop it. But when you body block it like that, not only do you reduce the distance that they go, but you put more fear into the PK kids because now they not only have to avoid hitting you, but perfectly angle their trajectory to get back up in the midst of a turnip being in hand pretty much every time that you know, Ling has any offstage gameplay. Very experienced in the Nest matchup for previous years against Tony Pajamas. Not so much against Lucas, but still made it look like he had that type of history with the way that set went.